My story was I was born and raised in the United States, and my family came from India, and I grew up in a very interesting situation because I grew up in America. My family's from India. I came to America about 40 or 50 years ago. But I'm proud of my heritage. I'm proud of my culture, but I feel weird calling myself Indian because I'm not from there, and I have love for the culture and the heritage. I don't know, like I don't really care about Bollywood and none of that stuff. But I got love, but so I don't really call myself Indian, and even calling myself an American is a weird and loaded term, especially now in 2019. Like it's weird to call myself an American. And of course, I'm a Muslim. I'm proud to be a Muslim, but I'm kind of a Muslim in my this and that. And so I was always very confused growing up. Like, who am I? What is my story? What is my narrative? And for me, Islam, it was an important part of my life, but Islam to me was taught in the way of, okay, do this because Allah said so, do this because Allah said so. There wasn't a lot of understanding of this is why we do this is why we believe this and that. So just lots of memorization. So for me, I was always proud to be Muslim, but it never really hit my heart. Until I got a little bit older. When I did this trip in New York. And so I live in New York City, and if you know anything about New York City, there are more than 1.2 million Muslims that live in New York City. And where I live, one day, when I first moved to New York, you can find websites, you can find nearest masjid. And so I put my address in, and within 5 kilometers, there was 223 masjids. Within 5 kilometers. And so Ramadan was happening, and I was with my buddy, and we found all these masjids. I didn't know so many masjids in New York. So we came up with this idea, wouldn't it be crazy if we went to 30 mosques, 30 masjids in 30 days around New York? So I went to Facebook, and I went to Twitter, and I posted this out. I said, Ramadan plan, because the Muslim community in New York is so big, my friend and I are going to have iftar at a different masjid every single day. So that was the plan. 30 mosques and 30 days around New York. And so when I posted that, my friends were like, hey, that's really cool. You guys should blog about this. But I'm like, why? Blogs are dumb. I don't read blogs. Why would I want to write one? And they kept insisting, no, you guys should really start blogging. Let people see this journey that you're going on. So I was like, all right, fine. Let's just launch the blog. I won't stop bothering me. So we launched the blog. And this is me before my baldness started kicking in. Thank you for laughing at my insecurity. But the cool thing about it was, not only was our friends and family reading the blog, we were starting to get emails from across New York, and then it was across America, and then all of a sudden it was like, hey, I'm in England, I love reading your blog. We had great times doing that project, but then the next year we wanted to change it up because we had a great time visiting masjids around New York, but we knew that our experience wasn't exclusive to New York, that across America, there's all these incredible communities that we could check out. So I went to my friend and I was like, hey, wouldn't it be even more crazy if we went to 30 states in 30 days, a different state every day in America? So that's how that happened. That's how this happened. But this was our route. We did about 25,000 kilometers driving. Every day we'd wake up during Ramadan, for Fajr, eat, suhoor before, and then start our fast. We would drive 8 to 10 hours every day to a different state, break our fast in a different state, meet the Muslims there, blog about, do Maghrib, break our fast, do a shot, and then blog about it up until 3 o'clock in the morning, sleep for an hour, get in the car, after what they're doing again. Every single day we did this, for lunch. And there's a reason why I'm telling this story, is not just talking about the project, but it was visiting this state right here, North Dakota. So, actually it started when we were in Montana. And anybody been to America before? Anybody been to America? Been there before? Have you heard of Montana? No, so you didn't go to Montana. So Montana, I'll show you where it is from map. Montana is right here. And it's a beautiful state. And we were praying with the Muslims when we went to Montana. And so we were there, it was a beautiful day, we're in the car, and just soaking in just all the beautiful mountains, and for miles and miles on end. We're in the car, we're jamming to Selena Gomez, don't judge me. So we're in the car, we're having a good time, and as I'm driving, we're in a rental car, and as I'm driving, I see a garbage bag, a trash bag on the road. And I don't think anything of it, so I just drive over the garbage bag. And boom! It turns out that it wasn't a garbage bag, it was actually a rock we ran over. And smoke is coming out from the back of our rental car. So I start freaking out, oh man, we're gonna get in so much trouble. And so I pull over, and I wait for the car to cool down. And all the smoke clears, everything's gone. And so, oh man, what's happening? So I wait for the car to cool down, and now the car shuts off. It's not even starting. What are you doing? Our car's broken. We're in the middle of nowhere. What do we do? So I said, okay, let's just deal with this later. It's almost time for Hungry. We gotta go to town and meet the Muslims. We'll just fix the car later. Right now, we gotta get to town. So he said, we'll just call a mechanic that'll pick us up and we'll figure this out. So we're in the mountains and we pull out our mobile phones. No reception, no service on our phones. So now we're stuck in the mountains, in the middle of nowhere, and we don't know what to do. And so I was like, what do we do? So my buddy that I was traveling with, I told him, I was like, alright, what do we do? And he comes up with some plan. Alright, Aman. What's up, little man? You good? What's up, man? You cool? Right. So we know what to do. So my buddy comes up with this plan. He goes, okay, Aman, here's the plan. I'm going to go ask for a ride. I'm going to stop the car, I'm going to get in the car, and I'm going to go into town. Once I go into town, I'm going to get mobile service. Once I get mobile service, I'll call the mechanic. Once I call the mechanic, I'll come back. And I was like, okay, then what do I do? He goes, okay, how about you wait here in the middle of nowhere where you can't call for help while you wait for me to come back. I'm like, what a brilliant plan. I'll see you later. So he leaves. And I'm just sitting in the car. And he said it'd be like 10 minutes. And so I'm sitting in the car, and 10 minutes becomes 20 minutes, 30 minutes becomes 40 minutes, 40 minutes becomes an hour. I'm like, where is this guy? He said it'd be like 10 minutes. And so I'm sitting there, and as I'm in the car, and I look out the window, and then all of a sudden, I see a bunch of deer and antelope run across the highway. I'm like, what? And so I start freaking out. And then, after that, I saw a bunch of wolves running across the highway. I'm like, oh, I better lock these doors. And I start freaking out. And then a few minutes later, I saw a family of bears chasing across the highway. I'm like, I gotta do some knuckle today. Like, I gotta pray some knuckle. Like, it's Ramadan. I gotta read some more Quran and pray some knuckle. So I'm freaking out because I'm about to get turned into a picnic like Yogi Bear and Boo Boo. And I'm like, what is happening out here? You're allowed to laugh. It's okay, by the way. It's love. But, so I'm freaking out. I'm like, what's happening? What do I do? And then all of a sudden, I hear this thundering noise in the background. I was like, alright, help has finally arrived. And so I look and I see this giant truck. And the mechanic came, help had finally arrived. And so the truck pulls up, and then my friend Bassam, he gets out of the truck. And so Bassam gets out, and then the driver of the truck, his name was Ken. And to tell you guys a little bit about this guy, Ken, this man has one of the most awesome mustaches I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, look at that. Like, I'm convinced that that's not even a mustache. That's his lips being protected by the wings of an angel. That's beautiful. So, I'm just in complete awe of this man's mustache. And so we get in the truck with Ken. And Bassam Tarek is my friend. He's a filmmaker. Brilliant filmmaker, brilliant photographer. He took all the photos and the film on the script. And so Bassam pulls out his camera and takes a picture of Ken. And he goes, hey Ken, can you smile for the camera? And Ken was like, I am smiling. So we prayed with the Muslims there, and we're really stressed out because we got to get the car fixed. Because the next day we have to go to North Dakota, which is the state right next to Montana. So we can't waste any time. So we get up super early in the morning, and we get the car fixed. So we said, okay, we have an 8-hour drive, so we have to leave by 12 o'clock so we can make Mugger at 8 o'clock at night. So we get up super early, we go to the mechanic, he fixes the car, but it takes way too long. At this point, it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, we're going to miss Mugger. We need a backup plan. And the only town I knew in North Dakota was the city Fargo. And so we couldn't make it to Fargo, 8 hours away. So I literally went on Google. Okay, I need to find a new town where Muslims are in North Dakota. And I literally typed Muslims in North Dakota. And Google was like, did you mean Muslims in New York? And even Google didn't know what I was looking for. And so I'm looking around, and I'm going through all these search entries. And I found this article. Actually, it wasn't even an article, it was a blog post that somebody wrote. And according to this blog post, the first Muslim community in the United States was in Ross, North Dakota, where Muslims have been living since the 1700s. What? I didn't know anything about this. A town of only 38 people has the first masjid that was ever built in the United States. Not New York, not Chicago, not Los Angeles, not Houston, not Miami. Ross, North Dakota, a town of 38 people. When we went there, it was 39. 40. So, I never heard of this place. I'm like, how did I not learn about this at Sunday school or at the masjid? Like, how come nobody taught me this? And so, I'm looking around on Google for this masjid. I can't find it. I can't find a website for the masjid. I can't find a phone number, an email, nothing. I even went on Facebook and looked up for I tried to search for every Muhammad, Nabia, Abdul I could find in North Dakota. Couldn't find anything. So I didn't know what to do. I didn't know this place was real. I just saw this random blog post that somebody wrote like 5 years ago. So I don't even know if this is an actual place. And so I'm looking around on Google Maps. And as I'm looking on Google Maps, I couldn't find the masjid, but I found a Muslim cemetery. So I said, okay, a town of only 38 people, such a small town, there's a cemetery, I assume the masjid has got to be close by. And so even the cemetery didn't have an address. All it had was an intersection. I said, okay, give me the intersection, I'll put that in my GPS. So completely relying on some random intersection, we drove 5 or 6 hours out to North Dakota. And North Dakota is another beautiful state. And that's where North Dakota is. Another beautiful state. There's a lot of farmland for kilometers and kilometers. And the frustrating thing is, it's just all farmland. So there's no signs that tell you where you're going, or there's no restaurants or gas stations where you can ask for directions. I'm completely relying on my phone to get us there. So we start driving, and I'm driving, and my friend is calling people trying to get information. So he calls. He tried to call the local city hall to talk to some politicians there. And we said, hey, is there a masjid there? And the mayor picked up the phone. He's like, I don't know what a masjid is, but there's a church. You want to call the church? I'm like, okay. We called the church. And we said, hey, is there a masjid in town? And they're like, I don't know. I'm like, do you know any Muslims in town? And they're like, we know this woman, her name is Lila. I think she's Muslim. I'm like, cool, can I get a phone number? And so they gave her a phone number, and we called Lila. It turns out that not only is she Muslim, she's the caretaker of the masjid. Like, awesome, this place is real, this place is legit. And so Lila, we said, hey, we're about 30 minutes away, can we come to the masjid? She said, well, we're making plans, like, I'm busy tonight, but you can, I can't open the door for you, but you're more than welcome. Take pictures if you want to do anything on the outside. I can't be with you. It's okay, that's fine. As long as we're welcome, that's all that matters. So we get to North Dakota, and the sun is starting to set on this small little town of Ross. And all I can think about is, man, Muslims have been living here since the 1700s? How did they get here? How did they end up here? Like, why not New York? Why not Chicago? And how come I didn't know anything about this narrative, about the story? So we get to town, and the sun is starting to set. Oh man, it's Mother time. I gotta break our fast. We gotta get this blog post up. What do we do? And so we were trying to hurry. And we still couldn't find the masjid. There's no signs or anything that tell you where you're going. So we get to North Dakota, and the GPS on my phone says, go all the way down this road, and the intersection will be straight up ahead. So I take the turn, I go all the way down the road, I look all the way out into the horizon, and I see absolutely nothing. What? Where's the masjid? I don't see it anywhere. And so I call Lila, she's not picking up, it's going to her voicemail. I try to call to the city hall, it's closed. I don't know what to do. Where is this place? We gotta bring her fast, what do we do? And I'm looking around, we're driving, nobody's picking their phone, we don't know what to do. And my friend was like, Mom, this is all your fault. You know, it's because you ran over that rock, Montana, you're stuck in the situation. And I'm like, your mama, and I'm like yelling at him, and he's yelling at me, and I start yelling at him, and then he shoves me, and I shove back, and we're yelling, we're fighting, we're yelling, we're fighting, and shoving. And as we're yelling, fighting, shoving, and yelling, we look out to our left of our window, and we see this. And so we found the masjid. And obviously, you can see the gate, you know, the Islamic symbol there. And then you see the masjid, like here's a closer shot of it. It almost looks like a masjid just fell right from the sky onto this farmland, right? And we were just in complete awe of this beautiful place. And my friend was standing like close to where the sun is. He said, hey, Aman, check this out, I found a cemetery. And we looked at some of the gravestones, like Nazir Omar, born in 1908. Ahmed Java, a Korean War veteran. We found Muslims that were World War I veterans, World War II veterans. Muslims born in the 1800s, 1900s, and 1700s. And of all places, they were living in Ross, North Dakota. And I'm like, how did people end up here? And I had so many questions. So finally, after Maghrib, Lila finally, picks up the phone and calls us back. And I was like, Lila, I know you can't be with us right now, but can we meet with you in the morning? We have some time. I have so many questions about this place. Please. So she agrees to meet with us. And so Lila, she opens the masjid. So Lila is 92 years old, and she is a 8th generation Muslim American. Her ancestors came to the United States in the 1700s. And I asked her this question. I was like, Lila, how did you end up here? How did you get here? Not like New York, Chicago, Philadelphia, like a big, major city. And so she told me that her ancestors came from Lebanon and Syria. And during the 1700s and 1800s, during the last era of the Ottoman Empire, the Ottoman Empire was spreading its last wave throughout the Middle East. And a lot of farmers in Lebanon and Syria, they didn't want to fight. Every man was required to fight during wartime. They were just farmers. They didn't want any trouble. They just wanted to farm. So they were trying to get out of war. And so they heard that in America, there was opportunities for farmers. There was a rule. It's called the Homestead Act, where you farm the land, America keep it. So thousands of Lebanese and Syrian farmers came to Ross, North Dakota, Toledo, Ohio, Evansville, Indiana, Cedar Rapids, Iowa. They lived there peacefully for generations. So I asked this question. I was like, all right, I appreciate that explanation, but let me ask you this question. You went to school in the 1930s and the 1940s, and I studied history and race relations were bad enough between white people and black people back then. What was it like for you? You were the only Muslim, the only Arab, you're the only minority. It's such a small farm town of 38 people. What was that like growing up? You must have had a lot of racism. Right? What was that? It must have been really hard. Right? What was it like in North Dakota of all places? That's Trump country. What was that like? And she said, actually, it's fine. There are any issues. I'm like, girl, what are you talking about? Good lie. Like, what do you mean no racism? She's like, I'm being honest, I've never had any issues. I'm like, come on, like, what are you talking about? A town of 38 people and this farmland, there's no, hips or hillbillies or whatever trying to go after you. And she's like, no, I'm like, why not? That doesn't make any sense. And she explained something to me. She said, the reason why, we were all farmers. At the end of the day, we were all farmers. It didn't matter what your skin color was or how you chose to pray to God. At the end of the day, we were all farmers. And that was a narrative that I kept seeing again and again and again. And this is a narrative that you see all over the world, right? You see stories of hate and tension, where people hate Muslims and Muslims hate these people, and those who hate Muslims, and there's fighting. And obviously there was a huge tragedy of the terror attack in New Zealand and this and that. And I don't want to imply that those things don't happen. It's a real situation, but we don't hear stories about this, right? Because these stories happen as well, where you see in other countries where Muslims are standing up for, Jewish people that are being attacked, or Jewish people standing up for Muslims, and these stories. And I got really frustrated because as I was traveling, what I was seeing on television was not the same thing that I was seeing in reality. And I got very, very frustrated by that. And to realize that one of the reasons I got a chance to visit, my friend and I were very blessed to visit this place, was because we ran over that rock in my hands. So Allah works in wonderful ways. And so we started traveling, and I started studying a lot more history. And for example, one of the people that really changed the way I look at Islam, anybody know who this is? Who is it? Right? We all know who Malcolm X is. We've all read his stories. We all, listen to his speeches and taken the time to understand. But he died in the 1960s, so it wasn't too long ago. And I wanted to meet Muslims that knew him. So in New York, this is the Malcolm X Masjid in Harlem, and there's a lot of elderly men that are about 70, 80 years old, and they all knew Malcolm. So I would ask them these questions. I said, okay, I know the speeches, I know the books, I've read the autobiography, I saw the movie, I've read every possible biography about him that I could find. So I know who he was, but what was it for you? What brought you to him? What made you follow him? What brought you to this and that? You gotta understand something. It wasn't just the speeches. It was the fact that he would say things like, okay guys, we're on Monday, and then on Tuesday, we're going to learn about finance. I'm going to teach you how to invest. And then on Wednesday, we're going to learn physical fitness. On Friday, we're going to teach you employment and how to fill out a resume and a job application. And then on Friday, we're going to do nutrition. We're going to teach you how to balance your diet. And so a lot of people were telling me, they said, the reason why we kept coming to the masjid is because not only just for deen and worship, it was because our pockets were getting fatter and fatter and fatter, making more money, and we were getting more physically fit. He realized that in order to make a difference, you have to take care of your people. You have to take care of your communities. And so what this masjid did, what Malcolm did is, and his followers, they would go to neighborhoods where there's a lot of drugs, a lot of crack, a lot of opium, a lot of heroin, a lot of marijuana dealing, and they would completely renovate the neighborhoods. So they would build a masjid, and then they would buy all the properties around it. So this entire block, all of these properties, the Muslim community owns. So all the rent that they get from these buildings pays for the masjid, pays for a full-time Islamic school, pays for the soup kitchen, pays for a domestic violence shelter, and they don't do any fundraising. All their programs, they have a performance venue, all of it comes from the community. They're self-sustaining. They're like, why would I ask for donations on Friday? We have all this revenue that is coming from Muslims. So he and his followers had a model of self-sustainability. And so I was really fascinated by this. And so I spent a lot of time within not only his followers, but within the Black American Muslim community, because they helped spread Islam throughout the U.S. in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. And in the United States, they made Islam cool. They made Islam a mainstream religion. They made it popular. Muhammad Ali and Malcolm X and a lot of musicians and a lot of artists, and I wanted to spend time with a lot of these people. So I went to this masjid. This is where I was talking about yesterday, the Mosque of Islamic Brotherhood. So Imam Khalid Rashid, he's the Imam in New York. He's an Imam, they call him the hip-hop Imam because he provides a lot of counseling for a lot of artists and stuff. You go to the masjid, you'll see Mukha, you'll see Mostep at Jummah, you'll see Swiss Beats, you'll see Buster Rappers, all these guys are at the masjid for Jummah. But I wasn't interested in that. I wanted to hear about him, and I wanted to hear about the story of the masjid. So he welcomed us in the place. And I noticed outside of the sidewalk that you can see this green. The sidewalk was green. Like, this is the road, and then the sidewalk was green. And so I asked the chef, I'm like, Imam, why is the sidewalk green? How come this entire sidewalk is green? Like, why do you guys do that? And so he told me the story that when the Muslims moved to this neighborhood, like what Malcolm dealt with, there's a lot of drugs, there's a lot of gang fighting, a lot of criminal activity. And a lot of Muslims, when they would come to the masjid, they didn't feel safe because of what was happening on the streets. especially with like women and children coming by. So the Muslims, they painted the sidewalk green. They said, okay, whatever criminal activity you guys do on that side of the street, you do it over there. But if you come on our sidewalk, we will fight you. We will beat you up if you step on our sidewalk. We have children, we have women coming to pray, they don't feel safe, so stay off our sidewalk, you do your stuff over there. And so what happened, the sidewalk became more and more and more green. And it started to spread until the entire block was painted green because the Muslims kept pushing all the drug dealers, all the criminals, they kept pushing people out. And they stayed firm in them. And so there's a story that he told me that there was a man who was drunk. He drank a lot of alcohol, he was very drunk, and he was stumbling in the street, he was so drunk. And when he passed out, he realized that he was on the sidewalk. And out of respect, he rolled into the street. That's the reputation that Muslims have in this neighborhood. And these are the stories that Muslims are known for. And so every time I have a friend that comes to New York, I take them to this masjid, show them, not only the Malcolm X masjid, but I show them this story. And then I realized one day, I keep bringing people to this sidewalk, and I keep pointing, this is where this happened, and this is what happened here, and this is what happened there. And then I realized that, okay, 50 years from now, 70 years from now, how are people going to talk about us? What are they going to point to, right? How are people going to point to that, okay, this is the time that, this coffee shop used to be here, or, this is like, what are the stories that people are going to say about us? And so I always think about that, like, when I die, not even just about me and how I want to be remembered, but how do we want people to remember us and celebrate us? And what stories are we putting out into the world? So that really put me on this journey since, in terms of finding out what is my own narrative. And I realized that, as I said in the beginning, I was very confused. I was like, am I Muslim? Am I Indian? Am I American? Am I this? Am I that? And I realized that I'm just the latest chapter in a book that's being written about our community, that's been being written since the 1700s. And I'm just chapter 2018 or 2019. That's just who I am. And so I don't have to feel like, I'm restricted to being Muslim, or restricted to being Indian, or restricted to being American. I'm all those things. And I have the ability to tell my own story. So another quick one. So, after we did the 30 Months and 30 Days project, it really changed my career because I used to be a stand-up comic, and I still do comedy. But I saw my life evolving more as a storyteller. People wanted to hear these stories, and people wanted to hear more stories about these stories that I saw, the people that I've met on my travels and things like that. And I also wanted to create opportunities for other people to tell their stories. And I got the opportunity to speak in Germany not too long ago. And I'll never forget this day. So I was at the Babylon Theater. So if you know anything about history, during World War II, Adolf Hitler and the Nazis, this theater used to be a propaganda theater where they would show all these Nazi films about glorifying Nazis and all this hate and all of the terrible things they would say about Jewish people, all this propaganda. And so after the Nazis and after the Cold War, this theater became a place where they brought in a lot of intellectual thinkers and speakers, and everybody from like Nelson Mandela to Desmond Tutu to all the world progressive leaders. For some reason, they want to be online. But I came, and that weekend, the promoter for the event, he's like, I just want to let you know that there are some protests that are happening all throughout Berlin. There was a more of a, I don't want to say extreme, but they were very like militant Muslim group, and they were passing out Qur'ans to people in the streets. And so there were the skinheads, the neo-Nazis, that were protesting and trying to, and so it got really tense, security and police, and everybody's on edge, like, afraid that something's going to happen. And so there's that money, you should cancel your event. I'm like, no, like, organizers already sold tickets, a lot of the show is sold out. Like, no, we're going to carry on this event. We should have punished the audience that bought tickets for something some hateful people, an argument people are doing on the other side of town. That's not reflective of Muslims in Germany or even the people of Germany. well, let's not let that dictate what we want to do. So we did the event, and I did some stand-up, and I told some stories about 30 months, my own life, and this and that. And I'll never forget this moment, man. After the show, I got approached by this guy. He was a neo-Nazi. He came to the show. And so during my stand-up, I was telling the story. I can't remember the exact joke, but it was a story about my dad. So my dad, like many of your parents, immigrated from one country, came here, trying to find opportunities. And like many of our dads, my dad was very strict on my grades. You know, I would get a B on a report card, I'd get like an 85%. And he'd be like, why didn't you get an A? And then I get an A, I get a 91%. Why didn't you get 100? And then I get 100. He's like, why are you taking such easy classes? I'm like, Dad, come on, man! And so I'd always get frustrated by this. So I was telling this story. And I would get so mad at my dad about this. I'd get like so upset. And I remember one day, like, I was a teenager and I was like yelling at him. I was like, Dad, like, nothing's ever good enough for you, man. Like, I get 100 and you say this, and I get this and you say that. I'm like, why is anything ever good enough? And I'll never forget this. So my dad, he grew up in India, and his job was designing bridges. He was a civil engineer. And so his job was designing bridges. And when he came to America, you know, this was in the 1970s, and there wasn't a lot of jobs. And they didn't really respect his degree. And so he worked at, Dunkin' Donuts here? He worked at Dunkin' Donuts. So he didn't do it because of his degree. He would clean the toilets. That was his job. And then became manager of Dunkin' Donuts, and then worked in donuts his whole life. And he told me this story. He was just like, yeah, I gave up. Like, I don't regret what I did because, you know, I was able to raise 5 boys. You know, 3 of them, mashallah, are doctors. One of them is a bald-headed monkey that tells jokes. My other brother is a film director, and so he's like, you know, I don't regret it because look at what I was able to do for you. But he's like, I'll be honest, like, every time I drive on the road, when I'm on a bridge, I get sad because my dad was like, I get sad because I think that could have been me. I could have designed that bridge. I could have done that. And he said the reason why I push you guys so hard is because I don't want you to ever feel like that. I don't want you to ever feel like, well, that could have been me. I could have gotten 100, or I could have gotten that job, or I could have been an attorney, or I could have been a poet. I never want you guys to feel like that. I never want you to feel like what I felt like this. I think about that every day, and I push you guys so hard because I never want you to feel like that. So I'm telling that story on stage, and afterwards, this guy, he came up to me and said, his name was David, he was a neo-Nazi, part of this new Nazi movement, and he had tattoos, he had a mohawk, and I'll be honest, I was frightened. Oh my God, I thought something was going to happen, and he had a whole crew of people with him. So he was just like, hey man, I'm just going to be honest with you. I heard that there was an event with Muslims, and I didn't really know what it was. I'll be honest, like, I've never met a Muslim before, and I'll be honest, like, I was afraid of you guys. I see you on TV about Sharia, about this, about that, and I was really frightened. And hearing your story and hearing your story about your dad reminds me of my dad. And so David told me that his father is from Poland. His father was an immigrant that came to Germany and worked in factories and pushed David the same way to do good in school, to do this and do that. And I remember he said, I'll never forget this, he goes, hearing your story about your dad makes me want to go home and give my dad a hug. And I said, the fact that you said that makes me want to go home and give my dad a hug. And I called my dad that night and I told him, I said, Dad, this is the most beautiful bridge you could have ever designed. This is the most beautiful bridge. Like, no arch or highway could have ever, compare to the bridge that you made that night. And so these are the stories that really have the power to make a difference. And I don't think we realize that we all have stories to tell. We all have followers, we all have Twitter accounts and Instagram and Facebook. And we all have the opportunity to tell stories, and I'm like, it's opened up a lot of doors and a lot of opportunities for us. Because when we think of Muslims, right, we get so frustrated because we think of this guy on the news. Like, this is the guy that they show on the news, right? Like, oh, Islam. And the thing is this guy, this is me when I wake up in the morning. But in reality, a Muslim looks like this, right? A Muslim looks like this. This guy was actually a Hafiz of Quran that we met in San Francisco. This is what Muslims look like. Muslims look like all of us. Anybody know this guy? I've never seen this guy before. Is this guy here? No, it's not a Muslim. These are the Muslims that we see, right? Some of the top entertainers today are Muslim, right? Unfortunately, this guy's also Muslim. But these are the faces of Islam that we kept seeing all throughout, our travels, again and again and again. And I got really frustrated because I wasn't seeing these faces on television. What I was seeing on TV and what I was seeing in movies was not the same thing I was seeing in reality. And so I would sit there and I would complain, like, the media this, entertainment that. And then one day I was like, why don't we just tell my own story? We have a following, we have a platform. My brother, mashallah, is like a very talented film director. Let's just start telling our own stories. And we live in a very exciting time now where there are opportunities. There are the Netflixes, the Hulus, and even the box office of the world where people want to see the stories. People want to see stories like Black Panther about an African kingdom, about superheroes, and people want to see stories about crazy rich Asians, even though it's just one narrative about an Asian American family and what it means to them and this and that. And people want to hear these stories, and so it's a really, really exciting time. Whereas back in the day, Hollywood was run by a bunch of old white guys, right? And now there's more and more opportunities for people of color, people of different backgrounds, especially women and Muslim Americans, Muslims from all over the world, to tell their own stories. And so now we have this power because clearly stories have a way of resonating. I just gave you a few examples of how you can do that. So people ask me, like, okay, how do we change narratives? Well, what do we do? How can we change people's perceptions of Muslims, right? The media says this, the entertainment says this, these movies say this. How do we change it? Is counter? What does that do? You respond to everything? The analogy I always use is McDonald's. So for years, McDonald's used to always brag about billions of people served. Over 99 billion served. Over 100 billion served. Over 200 billion served. And they would always feed people this crap. It sounds like terrible for you. This feed people crap and always brag about it. But what happened recently? McDonald's is actually losing money. They're not going bankrupt or anything, but they're losing money. They've been gaining profit for 30 or 40 years, and now all of a sudden they're actually losing money. The stock price is going down. And that's not because people are trying to condemn McDonald's or counter McDonald's or this or that. People just wanted good quality meat. People wanted good quality sandwiches. And so things like Shake Shack and Chick-fil-A and... You guys have Nando's here in Malaysia? Yeah. People want that stuff. People want good quality meat and good quality food. And so it's not about countering McDonald's or countering these lies or even countering this hate. It's about telling the actual authentic stories. Tell stories about your life. Tell stories about who you are. Tell stories about your background, this and that. That's what people are craving. And when you tell a story that's actually real, right? About your life, about your journey, about your family, about your relationships, about your marriage or your children, this and that. That's how you get people change. And so the project I'm working on now, my brother and I, we work together. My brother, Zishan, he's a film director and I'm a producer. And we signed a deal with Netflix to work on this film about, it's coming out in January of next year. It's a true story, it's a documentary. And it's a true story about this Muslim casket maker. He does janazas in New Jersey. And he got so fed up with all the street violence that was happening. All those kids were dying on the streets. He wanted to do something about it. And so he got so fed up because when he was doing the janazas, the coffins, he would build a coffin, it was getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And so what he's doing is, he's taking boys off the streets, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old. Kids like you, man. He pulls kids off the streets, he makes them do the janazas. He makes them do the coffins. he makes them, meet these families. So through the lens of death, he's teaching these boys that their own lives are worth living. So our film is following a 12-year-old and a 17-year-old learning how to become men. He's not doing it to preach Islam or giving dawah or anything like that. He's just trying to teach his kids how to be men. And so we've been following them for the past few years. And I wanted to tell the story because it was a beautiful story that had nothing to do with terrorism. That had nothing to do with ISIS or extremism. This was just a guy who just cared about kids in the community. And he just wanted to make a difference. It wasn't about converting kids or teaching them Quran or this or that. He just wanted to teach his kids how to be men. And these are the stories that keep running into. And so when people ask me like, oh, so what story should I do? Just talk about things that are happening in the community. Like, you'd be surprised, how much they are. I'll end on this, and so people will tell me like, okay, well, I'm not a filmmaker, I'm not a photographer, I can't do that. So how can I help? How can I get involved? And so I always tell people like, I use the analogy stay in your lane, right? If you work at a non-profit, anybody remember Mario Kart? Anybody? Stay in your lane. And what I mean by that is, don't feel like you have to make movies. Maybe you don't know how to make a movie. That's okay. But support movies that do come out. So if there's a very popular Malaysian filmmaker, support it, whether him or her, either by donating to what they're doing or watching their films. If you don't like it, tell them, like, hey, this sucks. This is how you can make it better. Be constructive. Encourage people to do these things. And so the analogy, if I can get a little old school hip hop on you guys. This was when Jay-Z introduced the world to Kanye West. So Jay-Z had a concert, and he put a chain around Kanye West's neck. So, ladies and gentlemen, Kanye West. Jay-Z vouched for him. So be that person that is putting chains on the kids in the community. Be like, if you're in an organization, you can be like, okay, you guys, find me, mom, brothers and sisters. What's your name? Hamza. Brothers and sisters, this is Hamza, and he has a dream of one day starting a YouTube channel. So give him ideas, encourage him. So we all can be that person. We can support what Hamza's doing. We can give him ideas. We can encourage him. So yes, if you want to follow film, if you want to work in entertainment, do it. But even if you don't, please support talented artists, even in this community. And Crescent Collective does a great job. Bring in artists from all over the world, even within the community. So come to places like this and tell people about events like this. And that's how you can make a difference. And so be that person that is putting chains people's necks. Love it. Take a sip of water.